Hello and welcome to Tangle Time Arts. I'm Nana, I'm a CZT, and today we're taking a look at Advent Tangles Day 6, Ayame by Emiko Kaneko. In Japanese, Ayame means iris, like the flower, and as you can see from the step out, we end up with a beautiful iris-looking flower. Ayame, in case you're interested, using the hiragana, looks like this. Oops, Ayame, and that equals iris. When I was learning this one, it took a lot of practice, but what I noticed, what worked for me, is that the flower is kind of in like a triangle shape, and that's how I would visualize it, as working with a triangle. So on a practice piece of paper, I would just draw a triangle, and I would kind of emphasize the three corners and the center. And then I would just fill it in, starting with it's almost like an S shape. And then we have a curve. So you have something that kind of looks like a flame there. And for practice, I'm just using a black pen and a piece of computer paper. Once we get that filled in, we kind of aura this shape, but on the inside, like that. And then we fill in with some like little half heart shapes. And we do 3 of them, and each one gets smaller and smaller as we go. And as you can see, we're done actually with the tangle, except for shading, but it fits really nicely into the triangle shape. And that's how I learned to draw this one. And that's what I still visualize in my mind. Even though I don't continue to draw the triangle, I still visualize that in my mind with the dot in the center and the 3 corner dots. So now we're going to switch to an actual Zentangle tile. I'm just using a white original tile. I will zoom in a little bit so you can see better. And I think we're going to start with a pencil. And we're going to put in our 4 dots in each corner. And then we are going to work our way around and connect those dots. We're back to the beginning. And if you need to, you could lightly either draw in the triangle, or if you want to put in at least the dots, you can do that to guide you. And as you practice, you won't need that anymore. But it's totally fine to work with that in the beginning. And then now we're going to take our pen and work with those S shapes. Make sure to rotate your tile as you go so you're comfortable working there. Once we have our S shapes, we're going to do the curve. And you can make this area wider if you want. But I wouldn't go any thinner. And then we put another S shape inside. Like that. Okay, and you can sort of visualize the triangle there. And then we'll come back in with our half heart shapes. And we're just going to do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And for me, when I start the heart shapes, I'm a little over a halfway down. And then they get smaller with each one. And there you have the tangle Ayame. I think we're going to aura around it. So that our flower really stands out. Like that. And then for interest, I think we're going to add a background of Crazy NZeppel. Crazy NZeppel is one of my favorites. And if you haven't tried it before, I encourage you to try it. It's a lot of fun and you can get a lot of different fun results with it. So with Crazy NZeppel, we're using a grid, but kind of a random grid. So you can draw your first line anywhere, and I am just going to go on a diagonal there. I'm going to rotate my tile, and I'm going to draw another random line. Just going to go straight to the flower, pick my pen up, air draw straight over, and continue my line. I'm going to rotate my tile again and fit in another line. And again, these are just random lines. Wherever I kind of feel like it, your lines may be in different positions than mine, and that's totally awesome. That's fine. I think I'm going to do something. What should I do? Go maybe straight across. How about that? And then we can do, sometimes you have to think a little bit, but try not to overthink it. So I'm just going to do something like that. And then I'm going to do another one here, cross like that. And I'm going to do one there. And let's try one this way. Let's see, do I want to do anything else? The more lines you have, the smaller the spaces become. So I think that's probably a good amount. If you've done Crazy NZeppel before and you want to add more, please take this time to do so. And what's fun with Crazy NZeppel is you get these It's like little pebbles in the background. And if you have, I'm going to continue working with my apprentice pen here, but if you do have a pen that is a little bit thicker, you could switch to that now. But if you don't, that's totally fine. So to do the little pebbles inside, we're just going to follow the lines, but when you come to a corner, you're actually rounding that out. And that's how you get your little pebble shapes. Let's do this one up here. Round the corner, follow the line, and round the corner, and there we go. I'm going to work on the outside first before I go to the inside. We have just a little space here. Take your time with this. It's actually really calming and meditative. At least for me, it is. And I hope it is for you as well. So you can start to see we're getting some little pebbles in there. And you don't have to work in any particular order. I like to fill in the areas that just kind of speak to me. So you'll often find me working here and then jumping over there, and that's just how I work. You might actually go all in a row or work your way across. Whatever feels most comfortable to you is awesome. Now, as we're coming in towards the actual tangle, we're just going to kind of come out from the tangle, round the corner, go down the line, round the corner, and go back to the tangle like that. And I'll do that again with this one. And just keep going that way. And like I said, sometimes I skip around, so it all gets finished in the end. And sometimes you can go around it twice just to make it a thicker line if you like that look. And if you don't have a thicker pen. Let's see here. And we're almost finished. So you might have more little spaces to fill in than I do, and that's fine. You can pause this and finish up. So now we have our Ayame in the center and our little pebbles around it. And we are going to switch to shading now. There is a variation that you can do if you prefer. For this particular one, I kind of like leaving the grid lines there. But if you would prefer, you can actually fill those in. You can ink those in. It just depends on what I'm working with. Sometimes I like filling those in with the black ink, or you could even take a different color, like a gel pen, and fill it in. I'm going to leave them today the way they are because I'm very fond of that look. But if you would like to take the time to fill in these spaces, go right ahead. I'm going to switch now to a number 2 pencil. And I have a cute little pencil from Zentangle, but any number 2 pencil or shading pencil will work. And I'm going to kind of work from the inside out, and I'm going to add a little graphite to the center here, just a little. I do tend to work a little darker when I'm filming so that you can see it. Once I have that done, I am going to add some graphite around the aura of my flower, around the Ayame. And I just kind of want to set that off from the rest of the piece. All right, so we have some graphite around that. And remember, you can always add more later, but you really can't take it away once it's on there. So I would advise working lighter. And if you need to add another layer or two, that's totally fine. I do like to work with graphite, and I tend to add a dark layer. That's just my style. Okay, and then now moving on to the NZeppel, the little pebbles. There's many ways you can, there are many variations of shading, and I'm just going to show you one way. So we're just going to shade around the edge of each. Some people like to only shade one side and they're consistent throughout their piece, but I really like to emphasize the pebbles. So I go all the way around, but I am going to leave white space in the center. Okay. And then, so we just want to do this for each little pebble that we have. And remember to rotate your tile so you're comfortable when you're working. Sometimes I forget. So it's good to think about that and do that. And again, you can fill these in any order that you want. You don't have to go clockwise or counterclockwise or all in a row. So I'm just adding the graphite inside each little pebble. Although I'm going to skip the tiny one because there's not a lot of room there. So working my way around. I'm just taking my time and enjoying the process. Being in the present moment here with you, working on this. Let's skip to this one. Go over here to its twin. Go back and get this little one here. That's the thing. Sometimes I like working on all the larger ones first and then come back to the little ones. And then sometimes I do the little ones first and come back to the larger ones. Just depends on how I feel that day. Let's see, I'll go over here. And when I shade, I'm really using the side of my pencil. I'm not really using the tip. So if you're having a little trouble filling in and getting that soft look, try using the side of your pencil. And that's especially true for something like this. And we have one more little one here. All right. So when you have a nice layer of graphite on, you want to switch to your tortillon. And the tortillons come in different sizes. This one's a little longer, so it's a little easier for me to hold on like a pencil. I'm going to start from the center, and it's just kind of pushing the graphite out from the center like that. I'm getting it to look nice and soft. Okay. And actually, when you use your tortillon a lot and you get some graphite on the tip, sometimes you don't need to actually add it from the pencil. You can just use it from the tip of your tortillon. All right, and then we're going to work around each little pebble here, making sure to leave a spot without graphite. And again, I'm just working randomly, choosing pebbles as I go. And I'm always starting closer to the ink line. And then when I move towards the center of the area, I'm blending it out. I'm just softening as I go. When I get closer to the center, I'm kind of going in a circular motion and leaving a nice white spot in the center there. So it looks like it's kind of shiny. With these ones that are touching our center flower, I'm just doing the sides that are not touching it, and then we'll go back and go around the flower at the end. Remember to keep rotating your tile. Just a little reminder. And I really do love Crazy NZeppel because you get these beautiful pebble shapes. Which fits in really nicely with the botanical tangles. And again, if you had fewer pebbles, you might already be done. And if you have more pebbles, that might take you a little longer. Almost done here. As you get more experience shading them, it goes much quicker. And then we're going to go back and get this graphite around our tangle Ayame. And I'm doing this last, but you could have done this part before we did each pebble. And that's something that as you get more experience, you will kind of decide how you like to work. And again, keep in mind my graphite's kind of darker. A, I like it that way, but B, it's so you can see it. All right. Isn't that cute? I just love the pebbles with the flower in the center. And I think to make the iris really stand out, I'm going to add a little color, and this is optional. If you don't want to add color, you can add a little bit of shading like in here, these areas. You can add shading there. But because I'm adding color and I'm working with gel pens, I'm not going to do that. I am going to start with my lightest color, and that is a yellow. I'm just adding a little bit of yellow here with the gel pen. This is a Wexford gel pen. And the yellows just for a little bit of contrast, but I do like those the iris with the multiple colors. And because the iris is a springtime flower, I'm kind of using bright colors. Okay, I'm done with the yellow. And now I'm going to add a little sparkle with, this is kind of like a magenta color. I was looking for a purple one, but that was actually too dark. So I'm going with a magenta type here. I'm just filling in, and you could use colored pencils or regular markers would work well too in whatever color choices you like. You could do pink or purple or even like a blue. And I hope you can see the sparkle. These gel pens really have a nice sparkle to them. All right. And then I'm going to switch to a regular gel pen. It's not a sparkly one, but that's okay. It's still part of the Wexford set. And I'm going to move to this area. And I'm just using pleasing spring colors that I'm fond of. So I'm going to do the first little teardrop and the last one in this color. And I'm going to do that all the way around. And I've got one more here. Okay, got that filled in. And then I'm going to use a lighter lavender. I don't know why, but the one included in the Wexford set, the pastel colors, for some reason the lavender is just not happy today. So I am using a souffle pen, and this is by Sakura, I believe. Yes. And I have a souffle pen in a lovely lavender color. And I'm just going to add that. just adds a nice bit of color and texture. I'll get one more. The souffle pens are very juicy. So we have to let that dry a little bit. All right. And there is our cute iris. Maybe on a cobblestone walkway. While that is drying, I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to put my chalk on there, my initials. So let me kind of look around and see where I want to add that. Sometimes it's a challenging decision to decide where you want to put your initials, and I recommend just kind of turning your piece around until you find a spot that works for you. Let's see. I think I'm going to add it here. And let it kind of come out of the border there. And then while the souffle pan is still drying, they are very juicy. I'm just going to come back with the pencil and kind of finish off this the edge here, just to make it a little more done, a little more finished looking. Let's skip this one because I went outside there. Turn around here. All right, it's in the corner. Take my tortillon and kind of blend that out. All right, and the souffle pan is still drying. So I'm just going to remind you to turn it over, and on the back, you want to put your name, the date, that it was day 6. You want to include that it's Advent Tangles 2023, and that we focused on Ayame by Emiko Kaneko. And then we also focused on the tangle Crazy NZeppel. I'll put all that information in the description. And we're basically done, just waiting for it to dry. I hope you can see the sparkle from the gel pen. Kind of cute. And that's it. Thank you for joining me today. This is Nana, helping you discover your inner artist. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you. And I love you guys. Thanks. Bye.